Hello everyone, this is Peace Mom, and it was a lovely Friday evening. I was back from the day's activities, and just about 9 p.m. thereabout, I was resting. A call came in. I ignored it the first time. It kept ringing out like, okay, it is something serious because it's an unknown caller. So I decided to pick it up. I picked it. The caller on the other end was a known voice. He said he has been trying to reach my husband and he couldn't, so he decided to call me. So I got the phone to my husband and he turned it on the speaker. While I was moving backward, I overheard, "It is peace." So I had to come back and okay, so peace had an accident and is presently at the hospital, and wherever they are, it was just the shock, the everything. Unlike me, that okay, before anything happens to my family, I would always have a signal, something, at least something that I would sense out. But there wasn't. I searched my spirit, I couldn't get anything that there was a clue. So it was like, something that is like a news that isn't yours. It was completely out of what I imagine. He told us he would call us back. So we hung on. Both of us went into the sitting room and sat on the floor. It was on the floor because it was, when it's like something weighty just comes on you and you're confused. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. You're just taken unawares. That's the mood we were in. After a moment, I stood up and started praying. My husband joined. We were praying. I remember we were praying through until the call came in again. This time around, they were on their way for CT scan. They were leaving FMC to run CT scan outside, and I heard tried confirming the persons that were in with her. Let me know that her PPA, some of the leaders are on ground. Almost all of them that are within town are on ground. Some are even right inside the ambulance with her, and they were off for CT scan. We still continued praying, and after a while, the calls still came in. They were done, and they were returning back to the hospital, and all the prayers was, peace should not die. All the prayers were that there will not be, there wouldn't be need for any surgery. It was that critical. We kept calling, talking. They were calling us, talking till by morning, when the batch that were on taking care of her for that night will need to go shower and the rest. I think that was almost afternoon. So what do we do? I'm running down immediately and the rest, and needed to see the results of everything. By then, most of the results were out. The fracture on her waist discovered. She had cuts on the both sides of her foreheads. I think the fracture came from the accident with the car. From the information, she was returning back from her PPA with 2 other persons, and they were attacked on the major road. And being attacked, the moving vehicle did hit her. So in essence, a double crisis that she had. And by that afternoon, I was beginning to get myself set to travel down. I was at the airport quite on time. We moved about 9. Got to the airport, got to Abuja. And just as we were coming out of the airport, he got a call. And the person on the other end was telling him, he was asking him, are they at the clinic? He said yes. And are we coming straight there? He said yes. And that was all I think the conversations I could grab. The next thing I heard was, what? He screamed. And I knew they were still talking about this. So I couldn't separate that shock from it. I'm like, what might have happened? Before I came into Abuja, I had prayed and I had this, at least let God speak to me. And I could hear like she has a majority on her side. I might not know what it means, but I knew she should be alive. So I asked the person driving, I asked him, is all well? He said yes. He started smiling. Inside me, I understand this. Those issues when something gets so bad and you didn't know somebody was overhearing and you just got shocked and you're trying to, calm the person, calm the situation. I said, okay. I kept looking at his face. He says, driving. He was looking a bit worried. And we got to the clinic, FMC. He parked the car, called the person again. Which of the side do we come? Do we come straight there? And the conversation was becoming, I was becoming curious, like what's really happening. The person said, okay, park, don't carry the things out, just bring her in. So I peace should be alive. I asked him, why are we not carrying my bag? He said, no, I should just leave it first. So I said, okay, we went in, go to the ICU. As I got there, there were a whole lot of some persons there. I can still see their faces. A mother, a matured woman was standby waiting for me. And some few persons from the PPA. I just know maybe the little promises of God concerning my daughter. And that was just what I still stand on. So I had prayed, I'd taken time praying before coming. And what was my prayer point? Thank God, I understand the situation. It's so demanding on my emotions, but I want you to work on it, work on my emotions, that it won't have any upper hand. I won't get emotional over it. That was just my prayer. Because if this girl is alive and needs help and whatever, I don't need those sentiments. I just need to face the reality and get a solution. So everything about the woman in me, let me say died. Everything about that motherhood, those feelings of pity and crying and the rest, it has dried up. So with the boldness, I told them, can we go in? So they called the nurse on duty. That his mom is around. So if they can allow us in, I don't know if it was, I couldn't really check if it was certain we got in about that 10, 11. It wasn't, I don't think it was the visiting hours. So the elderly lady that was around accompanied me in. And when I got in, such a sight I can't forget. Look at this young lady that was on her free just which day that they were doing the festivals at the camp. Pretty young, innocent, all of a sudden on the bed, all covered with blue, battered on the left, on the right of her skull, bruises all over her back. And thank God for strength. I didn't faint because I later discovered that's why she accompanied me in. But I give God thanks that she was alive. Look at her body on the bed. She was still breathing on oxygen. I give thanks. I thank God. I really thank God I met her alive. Breathing. Eyes closed. Body still. It was mixed emotions actually. But I got inner strength. There was this strength from within that made me not to cry. It was strange. In fact, by the morning, the doctor was like, "You need to really be sure you're the mom." It was that serious. I had an inner strength. I didn't cry. I couldn't cry. Looked at the body, moved around. I gave God thanks. And the lady saw that I was thanking God. She joined and she was so happy. She was like, okay, maybe that's what she was praying for all the while. This woman should come in and thank God. I thanked God. I appreciated Him for His mercies and used the hand glove according to the requirements and laid on my daughter to feel her breath. We were in for a while. The lady was just thanking God, praising God, praying. We were praying in the spirit, and until the nurse said it was time we should go out. So it was when I went out, I discovered she was to back me up so that when I slump, she can hold me, because it was expected that I might faint when I get in. It was that bad. So the God strengthened me, and people were praying. I got out and discovered the church was not yet aware all the while. I think it was on my way from Port Harcourt that I contacted her immediate boss to try to get in touch. Okay, so then they've been able to, and immediately they put her SIM card into another phone. They discovered her bag actually with her phones intact and her power bank, but all smashed by the car. So they could remove the SIM card and now put it into another phone. That was when they were able to alert her lodge. It was Deeper Life Bible Church, Sisters Lodge. So as of when I came out of the ICU, they were outside already. The pastor, one of the pastor, most of the brethren, they were outside. So, and everyone, not much to speak, because they were able to also go in. There wasn't much to speak because the situation, the doctor tried narrating what happened, what they saw. She came in and everybody's prayer was, this girl must not die. That was on Sunday. We do hang at the front of the, if you know FMC Abuja, there is this long terrain by the ICU where the caregivers sit, just waiting in case they call for drugs, call for medication, call for one thing or another. There will be somebody who will always be handy to take the order and whatever, run for it. So it was then maybe I should go change up and whatever. I like they don't be necessary. So I had to just bring out all my bags and everything. That frontage was now like a place, a home. The brethren were on ground, and I really thank God for her PPA. I thank every single person. The love, the care. I'm like, the first primary thing that kept this girl alive is God. The next was the love of the brethren. She was loved. They were on ground for her, both the men, the women, the ladies, the young men. They were all on the ground. Monday morning, the director and the wife, both of them they traveled, so they came in Monday morning. You can imagine, they came straight, their cab took them straight from the airport to FMC. I was overwhelmed by the love, though they couldn't allow them in because of it wasn't visiting hours and the rest. They gave me the comfort, the confidence, and I felt like there's a family here. I called my husband and they tell him that the crowd I'm seeing here and the love is like we are just a mini part of Pieces' life. We are just a mini part of her life. When you see this person and this person acts and behave like this is her sister or her daughter, you see the other person, the person acts same. Just that's what I saw. They couldn't let her go. The love could not let her go. By that Monday morning, they were to come back later in the day. I think by that evening or Tuesday evening, they came in and they were able to see her, prayed with her, encouraged me to get a Bluetooth with just Bible reading and faith confessions. So already inside the ICU, the particular place she was, there was a pastor, and I kept hearing my pastor's voice each time I come in. So they were already playing it for him. So we got ours, and it inserts a memory cards loaded with messages, prayers, faith confessions, Bible reading. So it will keep playing. When the Bluetooth will need charging, I'll drop in my phone. I'll ask the nurse to please keep my phone on her bed while they're charging the Bluetooth. It was just on and on. By Monday morning, when the doctor saw me, that was the feedback. The doctor said she came in with a way they grade the percentage consciousness, that she came in with 7, and by that Monday morning she was 7. It was like, I don't understand. On and on. Go get drug, go get this, go get that, run samples and the rest. But in all, there wasn't need for surgery. Praise God. She didn't go in for any surgery up till then. On and on, going in to visit Peace. Peace did her redeployment from Bauchi, and so it wasn't that funny trying to get things set up for NYSC. So a lot of things that she would need to do by that month, she was yet to now do. And with the redeployment, Abuja can't really just come in. Photos and videos made available, but as usual with ICU, it's not really allowed, so we wouldn't want to implicate the medical staffs concerned too. So but by that Tuesday, we went on and on, getting on with medications. There wasn't any call for surgery. That was one joy we had. At least it means internally things were going okay. There'll be a picture of the scan request, the radiology request, and the rest. Talking about severe head injury and pelvic fracture and the rest. But in all, they kept saying there wasn't any need for surgery. The head, it's going to set on its own, it's going to get healed. As of then, her legs were both swollen, forth into 5th day, 6th day. We started noticing little mobility on the hand. She would try to grab something, grab your hand. She would try to stretch her foot. The eyes were closed. She was still using the oxygen. I was noticing that mobility. As of then, there wasn't nobody could tell that the left side would have that partial paralysis. There wasn't any, we didn't know. To me, I was still feeling the movements too on that left side. She became so, with that movement, she became so restless to the point the nursing staffs were complaining. In the night, they are just scared she will injure herself, because she started moving up. She will raise herself up, lie down, and which they suspected it was pains, terrible pains she was going through. So she would lift herself, she would want to hit herself on the bed and all those. She wasn't talking, she wasn't yet conscious, she was just restless. So they had to tie her both hands to the bed, tie her both foot to the bed. So that was the state. She just laid like that. She still tries to lift her head and bring it down. Happened for days until about the 7th day, when she tried opening the right eye. The injury on the left side was that intense. She had a cut over the eye, directly over the eye, which was stitched too, and a cut down here. So really that side was really affected. So gradually she started opening the right eye. I noticed it told them, yeah, it's like she's trying to open it, but there are some, it's a bit gummy. So I think when the optometrist came, he prescribed something for the eye, which they dropped, and she was not able to open the right eye. Gradually, 2 days later, the left side, she was able to also open it, and gradually, just little by little. And before we knew, she could open the both eyes, just tearing. You know, those type when somebody's in coma, she would just tear. And actually, I felt scared of that more than even when she wasn't really opening it. It doesn't look like a good signal for me. But in all this, prayers were going on. People were talking to the God of heaven, the God of creation. They were praying, prayers was on. There were a series of, by the 10th day, her eyes were wide open, like I said, and she could see gradually. It's like she could now start seeing with the right eye. She could start seeing, I don't know if she's identifying, but she could turn, she could, at least we notice her consciousness. As of then, the doctor, when I met with the doctor, because I am looking at the physical, was the medical reports. As of then, he could confirm, okay, she stepped up. And but that my major joy should always be that she is just progressing, that she doesn't go downward. From that 7 level of consciousness she came in with, she's not gone down at all. It's just improving, but very gradually. It is a good news because we were praying and we were hopeful. People were on the line praying at church, the hoppers, the closed church, and they are in the church interceding and praying. The pastors over there at Port Harcourt, people are praying. Happy PA, people were sending in prayers. Even children, please love children so much, and she has a whole lot of them. Their parents were sending in the prayers of the children so that when I go into the ICU, I can be able to play it for her, because at that point she was hearing, though she wasn't communicating. She was still partially conscious, but she was hearing. So we were playing all those. Each time I go in, I play on my phone to play the prayers for her to hear the prayers, the encouragement, the messages. People were sending in the audio messages. We kept playing it. Her medications were going on. She didn't lack any medication, anyone they need. That was how ICU, that's expensive at FMC. But the money had to drop 12 midnight every day. And she had quite some amount in her wallet, so we weren't lacking. The oxygen was removed by then. She wasn't, and when I asked them what really happened, they said she was just too restless. She is, according to the matron, she's the most active patient in that ICU. She was too restless. They had to remove it. She had to remove a lot of things because on her own, then she was beginning to move her body parts. She would want to just loosen them from her body. So they removed it, and on. Medications, prayers. People were not sleeping. People took turns staying at ICU, being at the frontage. Took turns. You go there some days, 2 a.m. It's an open place. But you see brethren there praying. By evening, we go to the reception, hang there, and it's just prayers, because the environment is not that comfortable for you to go sleep. And God, in His mercies, was answering all the prayers. Initially, it was looking like it is not. It was looking like the improvement was, the process was just too gradual. But something was actually happening. But in all, by 12th of April, ICU 4. That is almost like it's a 50-50 chance people going in there. We'll be outside there before somebody's rolled in. We'll be there before somebody's rolled out. At a point, there was even somebody that was hanging, a caregiver. We are always together, even late nights. She came from Port Harcourt like me. She came to help stay with her elder brother, and it came to her turn, and it was then it really dawned on me that this thing. That night we spoke. By the morning, we were supposed to go in to see our patient. By morning, they were running around. The young man it was bad, and we lost him. It's at that point, it was tough. The sister that was on ground with me that day, she was just following me around the ICU, just move around. I couldn't even stand by this woman because of the emotions. Was just the weight was much as a mother. I'm like, this place is terrible. It's terrible. And the pains of the one we've lost and the fears that are coming for the one inside. But will God fail? And the point you pray until it's like you don't, the results you need is not coming through prayer. You now start holding on to the word, standing on just the word of God. You said this, and this will not fail. You now start standing on this. Sister told me it's time to visit Peace, to go in to see her. They have 2 times in a day. And the way she's saying my mood, she doesn't think I'm strong enough. So we should just go and rest. Rest a bit, sit at the reception, pray. Thank God for that. It was just like 30 minutes, but I got so revived and refreshed because you have to go in with positive. You have to go in to let her know that there's hope. You have to go in and pray. You can't go in with cries like, my daughter, you will not, no, wouldn't be anything like that. It's not necessary. So go in and let her know that there's life, and life will work. And she will come out, and those kind of you living like you're not seeing these things. I think when the Bible says calling those things that be not as though they were, just talking things that doesn't look real, so unreal. You're saying somebody that people will say hopeless on the bed. There was this particular young man that went in with us one of those days, and as we were praying, I just opened my eyes. You just lift the hand and drop again, like as if, is this person still alive? It was looking like that. But the restlessness I'll talk about, you will see that come up, but she's not conscious, so that can't even give you any much hope. So we on that particular morning, they didn't allow us in because of the running around, and finally we lost that guy. So about 9, the usual time was supposed to be 7 a.m. About 9:09, I just walked down to the metro because they were a bit less busy. That we needed to just see Peace. She told me it wouldn't be necessary again. I'm like, I don't understand. She said yes, and she smiled. Okay, that she's discharged from the ICU. Oh, praise God. That thought is like, I saw her so time and the rest. What really happened, discharge, hopeful and the rest. She said, Madam, among all the patients we have over here, that girl is the most active, and we've looked at her and considered her fit to be at the ward, that she can go. Let her go into the ward. They made arrangements, everything. That was morning, 12th morning. Started making arrangements. She was moved into the ward, the neuro stroke ortho. That's the word. Room 310. We won't forget that room. She was moved in there. They were able to pack her on a wheelchair. Then the picture of that will show up, and she moved into the ward, still unconscious. Laid her. And this would be the end of the episode on the ICU, all that transpired at the ICU. So thank you very much. God bless you. Give thanks to Rema Bible Training College, Nigeria, Reverend Tokes, Dr. Akuna, Reverend Ade, Itowu, the team, It's in peace. God bless you. So I want to thank Deeper Life Campus Fellowship Based Church, a church with a difference. People stood, held in. I didn't spend a day at the ICU for those 12, 14 days. I didn't spend any without somebody standing by me. They were there throughout night, day. I didn't like human helper. People that will stand to look at my face and ensure I am laughing, I'm smiling. Ensure I eat. It's difficult to eat actually. Difficult. But at a point they have to talk to you and you take in something. I appreciate you. I appreciate the team of ministers, the state overseer of the Life Bible Church, Abuja, Taraba, group pastors, all the pastors that were involved, nameless and countless ministers of God that were standing in. Pastor Tulu, Pastor Lekon, the head pastor, of course, Pastor Igwe. Thank you for your love. And all the brethren, I appreciate every one of you. And God will reward you. And for the ICU units, FMC, Abuja, it's been a huge love and selflessness. I look at you as team caring. I don't want to mention your names. You know yourself. God bless every one of you. Thank you. Thank you, NYSC, Abuja, Core Welfare, the federal coordinator, state coordinator, Mr. Telly, Mrs. Felicia. Thank you for the mother kind of heart. The redeployment letter was still carrying Venus, which is Bauchi. Her HMO wasn't yet rectified to Zuma, but it was handled with a human heart. We appreciate. God bless every one of you. Also, we want to thank and appreciate our home church, the Life Bible Church, Port Harcourt, everyone that stood in praying all through this ICU journey. Special thanks to his blessed memory, Pastor Joe Dechi. The love was splendid. Thank you so much at History Church and every single person.